Again, this is our virtual orientation for our 3K and pre-K for all families. Welcome, welcome. We are so happy that all of you decided to join us this evening because irony enough, the new school year starts on September 8th, which is exactly a month from yesterday. So kids will be in school as of a month from now. I know we're all excited. Okay, so we are going to jump in and get started. I know we have some families still joining, but we have a good amount of information we like to share with everyone so you can get ready for the new academic year. I am Sophia Francis, and I am the administrative director here at Cortelyou Early Childhood Centers. As you are all aware, we have 3 locations. So we have multiple directors that you'll get to meet here at Cortelyou, one for each particular site, and then we have an overall director. So again, we just want to welcome everyone. So you can leave your microphones on mute. That will be ideal for the duration of the presentation. And then if you have any questions at the end, you can just access at the very end, or simultaneously while we're talking, you can drop them in the chat because some of our staff is available and they'll go through and they'll be answering questions in real time as well. So please feel to mute your microphones. Also feel free to turn your webcam on or off. It's completely optional. It's up to you. And again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, or you can leave until the very end when we have another question and answer period. Thank you. So our administrative staff, we have, I would say a large staff here at Cortelyou. Like I said, we have 3 buildings, but our administrative staff consists of our administrative director, myself, Sophia Francis, our educational directors, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Charles, as well as Ms. Susan, Ms. Tiana. We also have an office administration team, Ms. Nilda, in addition to our accounts department, Mr. Francis and Mr. Nicholas. And most importantly, we have our founder, who is Mrs. Leonie Francis Bryan. She founded our school 40 years ago. And another special fun fact about this academic year, this is our 40th year anniversary. So we are so stoked and excited that our company has reached this milestone. And it's going to be a celebratory year. So not only are kids learning, but we're also going to have a good time celebrating that we have been in business for 40 years this coming April 3rd of 2023. So you'll get to meet all of our staff. Our next meeting with all of our families will be in person at curriculum night. So then you'll be able to kind of see who specifically works in your building and get to see the classrooms a little bit closer and meet your child's teacher and just really get, accustomed and acquainted with the Cortelyou family. So our agenda for tonight's meeting, we're going to give you a little snapshot of Cortelyou Early Childhood Center and our learning environment, how our classrooms operate for our 3K and pre-K programming. We're going to go over a little bit of our health and safety protocols, our partnership with families, daily schedule and our monthly themes, as well as our school's policies and procedures. We'll review the school calendar and school supplies, financial information for those of you who are interested in extended daycare, as well as how to communicate and keep your information current with the school. Because mostly everything that we do at Cortelyou is via technology. So we do a lot of email blasts, as well as we have ProCare, which is a system where we communicate with the parents and the teachers and the directors and the staff. Like everything pretty much happens in cyberspace. So we want to make sure that everyone's well equipped with technology and able to tap into the communication tools that we have to communicate with you and your child's teachers and parents. So again, brief history of our school. Why we are called Cortelyou Early Childhood Center is because we were founded on Cortelyou Road. You may be at a different location on Marlborough, on Farragut, but Cortelyou comes from us starting 40 years ago at 1110 Cortelyou Road, and our childcare center was Cortelyou Early Childhood Centers. Our mission here is to provide an excellent education, meeting each student's interests, abilities, and needs, and promoting the appreciation for racial, religious, and cultural differences. We have experienced and qualified early childhood teachers who work on our staff. We have a structured, child-friendly, and welcoming environment, as well as we have shared expectations for our school, as well as our parents and our students. We all want to work together in meeting the milestones where you would like your children to be. So to make that successful, it's a partnership. And we also have experiences where we have learning extending beyond the classroom. And like I told everyone before, we're a childcare center, as well as after school programming, as well as an elementary school. So we have the full gamut here at Cortelyou, and some of our other programs do some other things as far as experiential learning, trips and international abroad and so forth. So we do believe that learning also happens at home and outside of the classroom as well. So first thing first, a safe and healthy learning environment supporting your child's development. That is what we're trying to facilitate for your family here at Cortelyou. So most importantly, like we always tell our janitors, because as much as we want to make sure we have teachers who are certified and knowledgeable and know how to disseminate the information of teaching developmentally age appropriate curriculum, first thing first, places need to be clean and sanitized, because you can be doing a whole bunch of things in a dirty environment, and that is just not okay. So we want to make sure that our facility is a secure as well as clean facility, from our cots, our toys, our chairs, our tables, and other commonly touched items. We want to make sure that we have safe and child-friendly materials. Appropriate child supervision is available at all times. So our toddlers, when they're going to the bathroom, there's always somebody adjacent, because they may need some additional help. Sometimes if you don't tell them, they won't wipe, things of that nature. So we have all those materials, and we're on standby outside the bathroom door. Full day instruction is focused on developing the cognitive development, growth, fine motor skills, as well as social and emotional skills. Support and encouragement to try and learn new things is something that we encourage. Sometimes you'll ask someone like, oh, you want to try these carrots? No, I don't like carrots. Did you ever have them before? No, but I don't like the color, or whatever the case may be. We always tell them, at least try it. Try it once. If you try it and you don't like it, then we get it. But for the most part, that's, we today, I think we had asparagus for lunch, which was really good. Sometimes we have spinach and other different things. Sometimes we may even have quinoa. And sometimes kids will say, but I don't eat that at home. But let's try it. And guess what? When they try it, they're like, oh, I like it. So, we want them to try new and different things. That's the excitement of being young and being exposed to different things for the first time. So that's a part of their active exploration. We want them to follow routines. Structure helps them move along. So even sometimes if the teacher is absent, when you have another teacher in the room and you even ebb to go another way, they're like, no, 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 that's not what we do now, because they're so used to their routine. We want them to be able to solve problems. Sometimes they may come to you with a problem, and instead of us just solving it for them, we'll say, well, what do you think we should do? Well, I don't know, but well, what do you think? Well, I think she should give it back. Well, why should she give it back? Well, I think she should give it back because I had it first. Okay, that sounds like a good argument. Let's go over and talk to Stacy and tell Stacy that you should give it back because you had it first, and that maybe when you're done with it, then you can now give her a turn. Can we compromise? So, it's about giving them the tools to be successful with working with other little people, because those are things that will help them. These are life skills that they're learning to help them facilitate being an adult. And again, like I said, compromising and stuff, like giving them vocabulary words, that's important as well. Group exercises, they need to know how to work as a group, as well as how to work independently, as well as we want them to be physical and get up and moving up and down, especially in a time where we're coming out of the pandemic and a lot of things have been sedentary. A lot of children are watching way too much like online, different videos and things of this nature. When they come to school, we want them to disconnect from all of that. We want them to move, we want them to jump, we want them to be excited to be at school, and we want to get them active. That's important. And because a lot of children, especially for our 3K students, this may be the first time that they're coming into a school setting. They may have been home with only adults or only with grandma. They may be an only child. They may still not be potty trained. We may have some pre-K students that of them coming out of. We are, my staff already knows, like, we're no longer saying, the pandemic is a thing, it's still here, but we want to get back to some sense of normalcy for our children. So we want parents to work with us, and we're going to work with your children that we can, continue, teaching our young ones and helping and making sure that there's no learning loss for the next, set of years for our generation of children. Because we can no longer say that, the pandemic. We have to move forward. We have to take those steps. And as a community, we can take those steps together. All teachers and program administrators have the appropriate qualifications, as well as far as academics, in addition to the medical training. We all are certified in CPR and first aid, and our director staff, we all have advanced training in responding to emergencies, and we also have an on-call nurse. Partnering with families. So to promote this partnership, we as a school are going to try our best to provide a warm and welcoming environment that respects your family's language and culture. We have, for the most part, teachers who represent the world. Try our best to make sure that our teaching staff kind of reflects our student population. We plan with you for your child's transition into our preschool program, as well as their transition from 3K to pre-K and then pre-K to kindergarten. If they continue at Cortelyou, or if they continue at a different school, or if we need to gear them up to go to Gifted and Talented, or whatever it is that you're looking for after your 3K pre-K journey, we're here for it. We're here for it, and we're supportive. Communicate with you on a regular basis. And I was talking to the families about the communication tools that we use are all electronic. So you may get a weekly or monthly letter that says, this is what we're doing for the month. This is our theme. This is what's going on. But on regular basis, you can always text message your teacher, the director, through the communications app. And that's how you would be able to communicate with the teachers and the director if you wanted to do that in real time. And of course, even the teachers have an email address dedicated to their classroom. And we also have, your director has an email address. So if there's a lengthier letter and you don't want to sit there and text it via the phone, you can sit down and write a formal email. We will receive it. We will communicate with you about their learning progress, how they're doing, our programs, policies, and always with upcoming activities. Just like how you're all here tonight and you got several emails reminding you that this event was going to happen, we usually like to send out a lot of reminders just to let you know that something is happening and we need you to tune in and lean in and be there. We want to join with you in making decisions about your child's learning experiences. Again, it is a partnership. And as we know, it takes a village. So we're a part of your village, and together we're going to make it happen. And we do provide activities and opportunities to extend your child's learning outside of the classroom. And we also do have other things that our family workers will facilitate that will bring you to the school, maybe for different events and activities, winter shows, family night out, game nights, movie nights, different things that we will occasionally have and we'll sponsor at the school. And we're inviting families to come out and socialize and meet other families and just have fun together. Really quickly, just some CECC COVID-19 protocols. As far as classroom capacity, no matter which building you are in, 3K classrooms have 15 students. Pre-K classes can have anywhere from 16 to 18 students. The maximum is 18, but based on some of our classrooms in particular buildings, it may have 16 students. Morning health checks are usually performed as the children come to school. We're kind of doing a quick take a look at the students, make sure that they're well, they're not lethargic, they're not under the weather. We want to make sure that they're not sniffling, runny nose, anything like that. So we're always doing a morning check, and then we do random health checks throughout the day. Like if their, disposition change, all of a sudden they feel a little bit ill, we'll bring it to your attention and we'll call you for pickup. Families must keep their children home if they're sick. So if you do feel like they're under the weather, they woke up with a fever, or they're a little bit warm, if they're not their normal self, keep them home. Because again, for us to get back to some normalcy, we need all of our families to be all on the same page. Simply because we've been open throughout the pandemic. I mean, we closed when the whole city closed, but once we opened back up in 2020, that September, our parents for the last 2 years have been amazing at, if they felt a way, they saw something, or if someone adjacent to them were sick, they were like, you know what, we think we may have been exposed. We're going to hold our little ones home. We're going to fall back and just keep our whole family home, just because we want to err on the side of caution. And we so appreciated our families for that, because it allowed us to keep our doors open and we didn't have to have classroom closures. So we asked that for our new families coming in, that you will also give us that same respect, and we can work together. Again, this is partnership, because we want to stay open throughout whatever is going on out there. We want to make sure to maintain a safe and clean and ill-free classroom environment. So if you feel like they may be a little bit sick, we're just asking you to err on the side of caution, keep them home. COVID-19 tests, we have tons of them. They're going to be readily available at school. Sometimes we'll ask you to administer them if we do feel like there's an uptick in what's going on in the school community. Not in the school, but in the city, as per, whatever's going on, the different regulations and the different alerts that's going on. So if we do feel like it's necessary, we'll send out a series of tests and we'll say, let's do a test. In addition to that, before everyone starts in September, we're going to tell you again, do an at-home test, just to make sure that from your travels, wherever you've been all summer or that last week or wherever you're going, we all want to start with a clean slate. Teaching staff, students, everyone coming into the school building. When we're at the school building, we have a lot of frequent sanitization going on, because our students are comfortable because they've been wearing masks for a while, but now it's no longer required. It's optional. Hand washing will be done during transition periods, bathroom breaks. We have sanitizer, we have hand washing. They're used to washing their hands a lot, and we are constantly reminding them of it. And when they come in the morning, the first thing they do is they wash off outside. So again, that's consistent throughout the day. And then depending on the program that you're in, and we'll go over the different time frames. Some programs end at 2:20 if you're in pre-K. The other program, if you're in 3K, ends at 2:50. But if you choose to stay for extended day, that goes till 5:45. So there's different times, different dismissal times based on your child's programming. Now at this time, this is our hours of operations. I'll talk a little bit about this, and then I'll let Ms. Johnson, one of our other educational directors, jump in and tell you more about the educational curriculum for our 3K and pre-K students. So the hours of operations, like I was just saying before, is we're open from 7 a.m. Our buildings are always open from 7 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. That's the length of our school's hours of operation. Pre-K for all program, the DOE program, it runs from 8 a.m. to 2:20. So you would come in at 8 o'clock. They have breakfast between 8 a.m. 8:25, but around 8:30, they're starting their morning circle time. Our 3K for all start sharply at 8:30 a.m. But early drop-off is available at 8 a.m. And similarly for the pre-K for all, early drop-off is available for them at 7:30 a.m. So the people who can come at 7 a.m., if you are in extended day care or if you need additional services and you're paying for the additional early drop-off as well as the extended day programming, it's one particular fee. But everyone with the DOE program, you can always come a half an hour before the start of your program. So for 3K for all, that program starts at 8:30 and you can come as early as 8 a.m. Breakfast is from 8:30 to 8:55, and then they start their morning circle time at 9 a.m. Their dismissal is at 2:50. But again, if you're a parent and you're back in person at work and you have to be at work at a certain time and you need drop off at 7 a.m., we're here for it. We're here. But that's a part of our extended day fees service, which the accounts department will talk about a little bit more at the end. But we are here from 7 a.m. all the way to 5:45, and then that's the duration of our full day. Ms. Johnson is going to talk about our units of study, because everything we do is thematic throughout the academic year for our pre-K, first K programming. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sophia. Good afternoon, all parents. We are extremely happy to see many of you here this afternoon. We want to thank you for joining us and also for choosing Cortelyou Early Childhood Center. Just a little bit about our school. Each class, 3K as well as pre-K, we have what's called units of study. And Ms. Sophia said something that every month we will send out based on the units, you will receive a letter. I noticed a parent asked about assignments. 3K would have work as well. So for the 3K, your basic unit would be exploration. So you have exploration 1, exploration 2, exploration 3. And in each exploration, we have specific themes that they will be studying, and that will also be given to you. You will learn more about that as well in our, when we have our night when the parents come for parent teachers conference. When we have, then we also have for our pre-K, they have their units begin first with welcome to pre-K, as well as 3K also have welcome. After that, for pre-K, they're looking at your 5 senses, the importance of your senses, what do we do with our senses, and which is also a part of us. After that, we look at all about us. We look at our likes, our dislikes. We talk about their emotions, why do you feel this way? So all of that would incorporate all about us. And then we move on to where we live. So we talk about community, where you live, if you're living in a building, if you're living in a house, what does a building look like? What does a house look like? So we have all of that we're doing with them. And after that, we move into transportation. We look at the different types of transportation by land, by sea, by air. But before that, we want them to tell us, how do you arrive at school? How do you come to school? Do you come in a bus? Do you come in a car? Do you walk to school? So all of that we will also have with our units of study. Then we look at light. We look at the purpose of light. We look at the different forms of light as well. And then we move into water. And water now, we talk about the purpose of water. What are some things we use water for? Why do we need water? Where are some places you will find water, right? So we talk about all of that. And then we move into plants. What do plants need in order for them to survive? What are the different types of plants? You have plants in the home. There's some plant-based foods as well that we eat. What do plants need in order for them to survive? And then we look at babies. We look at babies in the sense of, this is like regrowth. So you look at babies when you're born, how you grow. So you talk about growth and development. So by now, most of our students are grown now. They're probably in by May. So they're moving on now into kindergarten. And so after that, we look at transformation. Transformation, now we're talking about, we're transitioning, we are moving from one stage, we're moving on to the other. Before our students go into kindergarten, we tell them what are some of the expectations in kindergarten. We also let them know what are, you wouldn't have the nap time as before. So in some cases before COVID time, what we do is we would take them to, we do have some public schools around us, and we would take them to those public schools, and they will spend just a few, maybe a few hours, we'll ask the school, and they will be in the kindergarten classroom. But now that we have a kindergarten in our facility as well, we also take them to that classroom. classroom. So they get an opportunity to sit in a classroom and they get an opportunity to see what happens while they are in that classroom. And as we noted, when we talk about 3K, we look at our community. This is what the exploration looks is like. They look at a community, they look at environment, and they look at impact. But I just want to let parents know for 3K, everything is intentional. So although you have those exploration, it's basically where the children want to go. So when you take them out, and if they're interested, they seem as if they're interested in, let's say you're doing outdoor walk, and they seem to be interested in nature. So that we will also incorporate when we're talking about community, because we do take them out on neighborhood walks so they can have that experience. And once we're showing them that interest, we build that interest as well into our units. We build that interest as well into our, when the teachers are doing their lesson plan. So it's all about intention, looking at what they like, and just when we notice that they like something, then what we try to do is to incorporate that into our curriculum as well. So basically, this is what the unit of studies are going to be like. When you have your meetings with the parents, the teachers are going to go in depth with you a little bit, because now we're going to show you what activities we're doing. We're going to talk about the activities. We're going to talk about what you can do at home to help your child as well. And along with the units of studies, parents, we also incorporate books. So if there by any chance, we do look that from parents, if there's by any chance that you have any more child-centered books like based on these themes, we would love to have them, because we do want to talk, we talk about partnerships. So if you are aware of any of these books that you think you want to bring to the classroom, we would love for you to bring that into the classroom for the teachers, so that we can read stories or any fiction, because we do read fiction and non-fiction books based on the theme. So we would love you to bring those into the classrooms for our children. Now, a daily overview. What does the day looks like for your children? So we first talk about, Ms. Sophia talk about when they come in the morning. Of course, we do hand washing. We do have what's called free play. They're playing. After that, we do again go wash their hands, and then we get into breakfast. So we start off with breakfast. After breakfast, we have what's called a class meeting. And in that class meeting, and that's very, very important, in the class meeting is a time when they come together and the teachers and the children are planning for this day. And when they're doing the class meeting, we're developing their language skills. They're learning to listen. They're learning about the different centers. They're learning about why we need to be in those centers and what are you going to do in the centers and what are the expectations when you go to those centers. So the class meeting is not very long. It's short, but it's intentional and is geared towards what is expected for the day and what is expected when they get into their center time. So when they get into the centers now, the centers are choice-based. So children choose specifically which center they would like to be involved in. And in their centers, they're exploring, they're discovering, they're learning. They learn to read, and they're writing, and they're cutting, and they're painting, and they're pretending as they're in these centers. Now, one thing I love to say to parents, because parents tend to say, oh, this is a lot of play. But I want to let you know that the play, it's playing with a purpose. So the children just don't go off and we just say, oh, go and play. What they actually do is the teachers are asking them questions. So for example, if I'm doing my theme on, let's say I'm looking at transportation. So when they go to the Block Center, we're talking about how can we construct, making different forms of transportation by using those blocks. So, and the teachers are asking them questions. And as they're making them, she's asking them, so what are you building? So what do you think you need to do next in order for you to make your car let's say you want to make your car drive. What exactly would you need to put on the car to make that car move? So you're talking about all of that. You're developing their critical thinking, and as well, you're developing their vocabulary and their oral language skills as you begin to ask them those questions. When they are in the centers as well, so you have the block center. When they are in the when they're in the dramatic center, and let's say you're doing transportation. So now we're going to look at we talk about the driver, we talk about the system that we have in New York, we have MTA, so we bring in maps, we bring in the Metro cards that you have. We talk about that. We have them dressing. We have them using the language. We're asking them questions again as they're in their various centers. And then, of course, we have the writing area. And in the writing area, of course, they are actually, some of them are drawing. Some of them might be drawing a specific type of transportation that they come to school with on a regular basis. And then now small group. Now, small group, as the children are playing in their centers, the teachers have a small group of children. And in this small group now, it's a little bit more that, especially in kindergarten, she's getting in a little bit more about the units of what they'll be studying. And so as they get into that, they'll be developing their knowledge. They'll be able to, she's able to support them a little bit more as they work in those small groups. So small groups is a little bit more intentional again. And as they're working together, they're working towards a specific goal. And again, it is based on the unit of study. And then we have our gross and fine motor skills. Now, the gross motor skills is when they go outdoors. And the gross motor skills is like more or less developing your legs. And sometimes we take that for granted. Children could climb and walk. We have to work on developing those so that they can be able to climb properly, so that they can be able to walk properly. So that is important in early childhood. And in your fine motor skills now, this is why you're using those big crayons, those big pencils, to help to develop their fine motor skills. So it is, again, it's an art when children are using pencils, when they are using crayons. And that eventually helps them when they get to elementary school so that they can be able to hold that pencil or crayon properly. And again, and it helps them. And it helps them as well when they're working in those groups. I want to go back to groups. When they're working in groups, it helps them to learn about taking turns, talking to each other. When we are doing our reading capacity, especially in pre-K, we do something called turn and talk. And we have specific questions that we might give to you, where you have to turn and talk with your partner. Again, everything, again, we're building, everything is a question. So again, Ms. Sophie said, we don't give them answers to situations. We want to see their thinking. How are you solving the problem? Why are you doing what you're doing? What do you think you could have done differently? So we're asking those questions to develop their thinking and to more or less to help them. The next one is what we incorporated the read aloud, and the next one is meal time. Meal time is a time when they learn to socialize. Many times back, we had them doing family style, but because of COVID and everything, we don't do family style anymore. So it's important that we are working and developing their critical skills so that they can become that global productive citizen. So everything, again, is intentional in these 3 grades. Screening. So we do what's called a specific type of screening. And this year we have used ages and stages questionnaire. And this, again, the screening purpose to see if there's any kind of delay or anything. And it's considered an authentic screening. So all students are screened once they turn 3 years old. So we use the authentic screening tool. We used to use the ESI, but now we're more focusing on ASQ, where you're helping us. You are actually, we send home the questionnaire, we're asking you questions, and then you send those information back to us. And here is the instrument addresses, visual and motor, language and cognition, and the gross motor skills. And of course, during curriculum night, you will receive that from our teachers. And then you have a specific time when to return them. So we encourage you to ensure that your child attend regularly. It's important because we do take attendance and that goes to the DOE. at the end of the school year. We would like you to, of course, important procedures such as pick up and drop off. We need to know who's picking up your child, who's dropping off. We have if somebody different other than who we know, we ask you to make sure that that person brings some form of identification. And of course, we talk about ongoing communication. That was something that we talked about. Ms. Sophia talked about how we are going to communicate with you. So it's important, parents, that when we send out information, that you are aware and you know what's happening with our school. And of course, we want you to participate in hands-on activities and every other activity, and because we are working as a partner. If there are any changes in your child behavior or anything that's happening at home, we would like you to ensure that you are informing us. We don't need to know the details, just let us know there's something has been happening at home and you would like us to know that there might be some changes in the child's behavior. So please let us know. It's important, all the documents of you would have submitted it, but I want to let you know, parents, the most important thing, the other thing is a physical, a yearly physical. Sometimes parents bring in immunization and they said, oh, this is it. No, you need a physical. And when we reach to the part where we have to let you know, a flu shot a month, we will get to that a little, but flu shot is a must. There's no, unless the doctor says that your child is not able to do it, we need that doctor's note. Other than that, there is no religious exemptions. All students must have, must be making sure that they have that flu shot. And the policies, we want to ensure, sign in and sign out policy in, and you sign out. Uniform policy, it's a must. We do have uniform, but we do want to make sure the students are wearing uniform Monday through Thursday. Friday, it's a dress down day, and we have CECC t-shirts, which I'm sure the accounts department will be able to and the most important thing, parents, most of our students are unable to tie their laces. We're going to practice those activities, but when you give them laces, imagine us with 2 teachers, a class of 15 with 2 teachers, and we will be tying laces for the entire day. So we ask you to make sure that they have Velcro shoes are required. We are unable, we cannot, we have difficulties with tying our day. We're doing this. So we're asking you to work with us and make sure children have Velcro. All your children belongings, pull up clothes, whatever they have, make sure that you're labeling them. Make sure it has a child's name, because sometimes some children may have the same kind of, the same type of coat, the same type of something. So make sure that you are labeling those things. Sheets, children need to have a clean sheet every single week. We prefer a crib or a fitted crib sheet, no pillows. We cannot accept any pillows. Your child might be a person who sleeps with pillows, but we are unable to permit any pillows. We have to follow the guidelines to Department of Education as well as of Health. So no pillows for birth. Anything with birthday parties, we cannot have birthday parties, first of all, during the school day. We cannot have it on Monday, no Tuesday, no Wednesday, Thursday, none of that. Anything that we're gonna have, it has to be on a Friday. And when we do this, so anything is on a Friday, and all we do that is late in the afternoon. And we also give you a list. We just want a list of basic things like cupcakes. We don't want any knives in the classroom, so there's no cutting of a cake, no candles on the cake. We will just be, everything should be just basic cupcakes. Anything else, any party bags, must be something that is nutritious, because we're pushing about nutrition for our children. So we want you to know, just making sure that everything is, it's nutritious. And emergency contact, that person should be able to arrive within 30 to 60 minutes for the pickup if there's any emergency. So we're just asking you to, again, work with us in that respect. as I noted that we follow, most of us are DOH, which is Article 47, and our staff are not authorized to give any medication. We cannot give your child, parents would bring in, oh, he's using this cough syrup, this you have to give him. We cannot give them any of those things. The only thing we're trained to do is if anything with a child having any allergic reaction, then we can do the EpiPen, but that's it. But we cannot do anything with medication. So I just want to bring that to your attention. And your annual physical, again, just to make sure it must have, you must make sure that your child have the required immunization shots. We must also have flu shots. And I just want to say to parents that the Department of Health would be coming in to visit our school. And so because they're coming to visit, we need to make sure that your child is up to date with his or her immunization shots. And flu shots are required. We normally do it by the first week, I think, or the second week in November, right? Am I correct, Sophia?
I'm sorry, what did you say about the flu shot?
The flu shot. I know we normally try to make sure that parents do it within by November.
By November 15th.
Right, November
15th. By November 15th.
Right.
But if you have it prior to June, it would work for the previous flu season. It has to be from August moving.
It has to be from August, yeah. So just to let parents know, all right? And any other thing else, if your child has, sometimes parents said, oh, my child don't drink milk, they don't do, please make sure that it's stated specifically from the doctor. So if your child don't drink milk, we just need to make sure that it is stated, your doctor says your child cannot drink milk, just to make sure. So please make sure everything has, if there are any changes as well or update on your child's health, let us know so we can have those information, we document it, the teachers are aware so that when we're doing lunch, we know exactly who is allergic to what or who has any specific health issues. So please let us know.
And then another question that I just wanted to address, someone asked about an EpiPen. If my child requires an EpiPen, should I bring it on the first day of school? If your child requires the EpiPen or to have a, asthma pump in their bag, then you should have it in their bag so that we can have access to it in a dire emergency.
Yeah, and let us know. We need to know.
That EpiPen, yes. And you should be able to have one that can remain at school in your child's cubby. In addition, someone asked if we were a nut-free school. That is true. There's no peanut butter or anything produced at plants that has nuts. No nuts are allowed on the premises. In addition to that, my child drinks almond milk. How can I ensure he does not get whole milk? You can provide the almond milk and you can bring it on a daily basis because we only have, I think, the alternative of soy, maybe something like that. But in addition to that, once you put it down that your child is allergic and you're bringing in your milk, then it would be in the fridge and the child's name would be on it and the teacher would know that your child is to get that milk. But you do need a letter from the doctor stating that your child has an allergy and only drinks a particular milk. We need the letters when they are not drinking regular milk.
Somebody asked about Pediasure. The child used Pediasure. Yes, you can make sure that you bring that in for us. We need to make sure that
all they have to do, whatever you need, is bring it in. Like there's some kids all year, that's what they eat, drink, or whatever, but bring it in, write their name on their stuff, and they will be able to get it. And that's another thing you have to take into consideration. Everyone has different kids. Some are in 3K, some are in pre-K. And we have a lot of children who have lots of different allergies, especially because a lot of children haven't been leaving the confines of their home for the last 2 to 3 years. So things that other people aren't usually allergic to, now kids are allergic to them for some strange reason. And that's all, again, due to exposure. So we want to make sure that whatever your child needs, that you bring it with them, you let the teachers know up front so that we know that this child has particular allergies. And say you have a younger child, sometimes a child may come in at the age of 2 or 3 and they don't have particular allergies, but then as different things happen or now they start breaking out, we realize they're allergic to pineapples or they're allergic to whatever the case may be. But as you know, as you find out these new allergies, bring it to our attention so we can update our file and we can update the list that we have posted inside the classrooms, because collectively everyone knows of all of the allergies. In addition to that, there was something else I wanted to tell you about medical. Oh, I wanted to tell you also that we have some students that do not eat food. And I know you're gonna say that's kind of weird. We have students who do not eat food because they are, they may have, we have some children who go to, like, not that they have a, like, it has something to do sometimes with children who are, it's a early sign that they may even be in fact on a spectrum. They don't like particular textures. They don't like particular things. They don't like how it feel and tastes in their mouth. I have some children that only drink Pediasure. They won't eat French fries. They won't eat pizza. They won't do anything. So I'm explaining to you whatever your child needs, bring it to our attention so we can best help your family. And we do have other families who are using feeding specialists and speech pathologists. Sometimes it may be in how the roof of their mouth is, or something's not fully closed. There's tons of different things. So if you're suffering or your child is experiencing different things, bring it to the educational director's attention, because we can help. We've been in it, Ms. Johnson and myself, well over X amount of years. We've seen it all. So if you want the help, we're here to help you during these early childhood formative years. So just bring it to our attention and we will help you. We will get you the specialist that you need to help you get over those developmental milestones that you may be struggling with when you're at home. But now you're in the school setting, so we can help you here.
Just one last thing, communicable diseases such as ringworm, diarrhea, hand, foot, and mouth disease. If your child have diarrhea, all those things, pink eye, strep throat, gastroenteritis, or ear infection, we're asking you to keep your child home and to make sure that you submit a note stating that your child is eligible to return to school. So that's important for our families. And someone was asking about the school calendar. We will have those. It's normally online. So once again, this is our school calendar. We normally don't follow most of DOE schedule closures, but for the better part, we do the major ones, the federal ones, such as we have Indigenous Day, we have Thanksgiving Day, we have Veterans Day. All of those days are going to be closures. And we also have, when we're off in Christmas, we're also off in, we have what's called a midwinter break. We have the winter break. All those times we have off. Those are the scheduled times that we follow when we have our, and there are times to parents when teachers, we close for professional development for our teachers because they're constantly doing professional development. So these are days when we're closed. So we're asking you to ensure that you follow our calendar. If there are any changes or update on the calendar, then certainly we will let you know. But that, make sure that you're following it and you're adhering to our closure dates. So this will be online and you will also receive this when school reopen. And 3K and pre-K supplies. Again, this is mostly for we're asking you to, especially students who are in our extended day portion. They have the extended day students. They have two black, I just want to go to that first, then I go to the top. We have 2 black and white notebooks. We want pencils, but the jumbo size, please do not buy the other fine type because of their fine motor skills are now developing. So they need those jumbo size. And then of course we want to have, so make sure that you're bringing that for your children. Other supplies that we have that we would love you to make sure that you're bringing. We would like to have reams of copy paper, a pack of glue sticks. We want to do the file organizers for our students. We want the sheet protectors. And we want to have the antibacterial wipes, Lysol, because we're constantly cleaning. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Tissues, we need lots of that because we have children sneezing, especially when it comes around to flu season. Baby wipes are important. We want to have Ziploc bags, the giant size Ziploc bags, and those are what to put in your child's clothes in the cubbies. Of course, a crib fitted sheet, which is weekly, and change of clothes, parents. Be mindful of the season, the changes in the season. So we want you to make sure when it is fall, we have specific clothes. When it's winter, you know that what kind of clothing for your child. When it's spring, you're aware of that. And when it's coming on to summer, the different clothes. And we, of course, we want a photo of your child and a family photo, because we do put that up in our dramatic center, and that is building that connection between home and school. So one photo size of your child and one family photo, we would like you to make sure that you submit that to us. For children that are not potty trained and you're wearing pull-ups, we want to have the side opening pull-ups. And of course, they must make sure that you constantly have those wipes for them. And just another reiterating, Velcro or buckle shoes. Label everything for your child. So we just want to send those reminders for you. And there's a difference between our SDY versus the EDY. What's the difference? So let me just give you
I just wanted to stick.
You can jump into that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Nicholas is going to go into that. But before that, if you could just go back one slide, I just want to address some of the different questions in the chat really quickly.
Okay.
That's because they're everyone could probably benefit from them. Someone had asked a while back, how will I get updates on my child? We do have parent-teacher conferences twice per year. In addition to that, we have the communications tool where you can communicate directly with the teacher and the parent. You can communicate back and forth. And for the most part, you're always going to see them at the time of pickup or drop off, and you'll be in direct communication with your child's teacher. And we're going to do that assessment at the earlier part of the year, which happens in the first 45 days of school. And we're going to let you know, as far as the assessments, how your child is doing, where they land, and what services, if any, we believe your child would need to be successful and to get them ready for kindergarten or pre-K if you're in 3K. In addition to that, there was a question in regards to speech therapy and maybe occupational therapy. Our school doesn't have a speech therapist or occupational therapist that just works for the school. That would be more so in a public school setting. Our students who receive services would be children who have an IEP, and that's an individualized education plan, which means that your child has already been evaluated and that you are going to get services as is outlined on that plan by the Department of Education. So if your child was evaluated, they said your child needs speech or your child needs, occupational therapy or physical therapy, whatever the case may be, or SEET services, they need a SEET, which is a special education interim teacher who will work directly with them to help them while in the classroom assimilate within the classroom setting. That comes from an IEP, individualized education plan. So again, say, for example, you don't have that plan, but you as a parent realize, like, we don't have to assess them if you already know. I mean, they're going to be assessed, but if you see something, definitely bring it to our attention. Like, I'm his mom, I have 3 other kids at home, and this child, I believe, may have a list, or I believe this child has this, or whatever. Let us know, because if you know, you know. Who knows better than mom or dad? Bring it to our attention, and then we can get the ball rolling as far as getting an evaluation. Again, you can evaluate. They can come back and say, no, it's really not that, or yes, it is, or yes, it's something temporary. We want to get it because it'll be beneficial. We are early childhood specialists, and we specialize from birth to 2nd grade. And we believe that early intervention is like the best thing as far as preventing, learning loss throughout the upper grades. So if we can figure it out while they're young, while they're sponges, because, sometimes you may say something or do something with your little ones, and then they'll keep on saying it. And you're like, oh my goodness, why did I say that in front of them? Because they're sponges. So the best time to model any age appropriate behavior, or anything that you want them to learn, is during these formative years. So if you realize that you need something, don't be shy. Let us know, because this is a partnership and we want to work to for the betterment of all of our children. We have a lot of classrooms. We have, I would say, 5 pre-K classrooms, and I think we have now 4 3K classrooms. It's going to take us some time to really assess and see where everyone is. But, you know, when we do, it's going to be a wait trying to get these services. So we just want to know, if you already know, bring it to our attention so we can already get the ball rolling. And in addition to that, another question that I saw was about tours. If you're interested in a tour because you never saw the facility, all of our buildings are not open this summer. Our Bedford location is closed. Our Marlboro building is housing only camp, and our main building is open. And if you need to see a 3K pre-K classroom, we can kind of show you that building, but all the other buildings are operating summer camp at this junction. So your best bet is to call our main number at 718-282-6077 and speak with the office staff. That's our main number for our child care center. Also, another thing that I just wanted to talk about when we talk about extended day versus being in school just for the DOE day. So the DOE day is just like the typical public school day, where it's from 8 a.m. to 2:20 or 8:30 to 2:50. That is free. You come, you get the Department of Education curriculum because we are contracted to share that education with you and impart it just as they wrote it. Now, if you're interested in extended day, where it's like extended day after school care, that does come with a fee. And then we'll be here till 5:45 each evening with your family. So that's for families who want additional curriculum, our traditional curriculum that we offered. That's where some of the textbooks and different worksheets and things of that nature come into play in the afternoon, up until like the 4:30 hour, because again, they're 3 and they're 4, they got to play, they got to move, they got to do what they have to do. Their attention spans are short. But again, we've been here for 40 years and we have families who've been coming here, and we are known for getting our children into particular schools and getting them to different milestones. We want to do that for families who are interested in it, but that is something that we have to do in the extended portion of our day. We can't do it during the DOE day, because during the DOE day, we're doing great stuff. So don't undercut that, but it is a different type of play-based curriculum versus the traditional curriculum. It's just a different philosophy of thought. So if you participate in both programs, it's like having the best of both worlds. If you do one, you're getting the play-based curriculum and the social emotional development, and as far as, you know, really bringing out, you know, the different developmental needs of your children and everything that they need to have for 3K to go to pre-K or pre-K to go to kindergarten. The extended day curriculum is also a little bit more. It's also aftercare, in addition to they're gonna delve a little deeper with some of the traditional rote education. So if that's a school of thought that you like or you don't, you know that's what's happening in the afternoon. So it all depends on your child, their learning style, and what you're looking for with your little ones. So when we talk about homework and different types of homework, you'll see once the homework starts to get rolled out, how it will differentiate from, if you're in the traditional DOE, you'll get that homework. If you're in the extended day, you'll get the DOE homework and the traditional homework. So it's a little bit more, but again, it's still 3-year-old work and 4-year-old work. It's not rocket science, but it's just some additional materials to keep your little one learning and a little busy as well. I just want to see if I hit all of those. Somebody had asked in regards to if they get assessed, does it follow them on a record? That's not really exactly how that goes. The assessment is wherever you are in any DOE school system, we need to assess the children, see where they are. It helps us in preparing the curriculum that we're imparting to the students. And we need to know that. And yes, it gets recorded and we help them meet their milestones, because that's what we're here to do. And another quick question was, why no pillows? Safety hazard. Like, you can't have pillows at school. Pillows are for home.
Choking hazard, choking,
Suffocation, this, that.
Yeah.
We don't want to give the kids unnecessary things that they need in the classroom. So they need a sheet. That's it. Mr. Nicholas, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We already passed the top of the hour, but we are at the tail end of the presentation, so we'll be pretty quick. We've already spoken about a lot of this already. So good evening. My name is Mr. Nicholas. I'm one of the 2 people that's in the accounts department. We'll hear from Mr. Francis a little later. But this first slide, a lot of you, maybe you remember it all the way back at the top of the year when you were filling out your applications. You either saw SDY, which is school day year, or EDY, extended day year. That right side is only going to apply to about maybe less than 10 people across the entire program. So not as relevant for most people, but school day year, that's for pre-K, as was mentioned prior. It is from 8 a.m. to 2:20. So that's pre-K for all 4-year-olds. And 3K for all is from 8:30 to 2:50. That's what Ms. Sophia was just mentioning with the free services. Extended day is provided from 7 to 5:45 and the 15-minute grace period till 6. And that does come up with fees, which we'll talk about on the next slide. The extended day year is for specifically eligible families, which is closely tied to as if they were getting a child care voucher through the city. So they have to specifically qualify under certain standards issued by the city in order to get those seats to provide services throughout the entire day rather than just the school day itself. So we will discuss the tuition and fees related to the 3K and pre-K program. The registration fee is a little different between the two. 3K is just the $200 that's due upon the submission of the Cortelyou application for extended day. And the monthly tuition is $600 per month due by the 5th of each month. And that's for the 3K program. The pre-K program, the registration is $200 and the textbook fee associated with that extended day program is $115. They're both generally due around the submission of the application or in September as it relates to textbook fees. That monthly tuition is $500 per month for pre-K. Some other things to keep in mind, we have a bunch of different payment methods that we accept: cash, check, money order, whatever it may be. Credit or debit cards do come with a processing fee, but if you want to avoid that, you can use our EFT or ACH program to pay directly with a bank account. There's no fees with that. Or you can use your bank account's online bill pay where the bank will send us a check on your behalf. So it's a little easier to deal with. If tuition is not paid by the 5th of the month, there is a late payment fee of $50. And this is only applies to families that are not in the extended day year seats. And the bounce payment fees, if your check bounces, there are fees associated with that. So try to make sure that your credit card has enough on it, enough credit available, your bank account has enough money in it. Just try to avoid those fees. Now, fees that are relevant for all families, if you are late, which I did see a question, we'll talk about that maybe towards the end of the brief Q&A. There are late pickup fees. So pick up your children on time. You want to avoid that because we have to ensure that the staff are paying attention to the children that are supposed to be there. So if you want the extended day program, just do it now. Just make sure that you have it, just in case you may need it in the future, but we'll discuss that a little later. And also we have some Cortelyou t-shirts that we usually use throughout the spirit days that we have throughout the week. And those are generally $10 each. In terms of keeping information current, generally parents, you're going to have the responsibility. Make sure we have the current email addresses, phone numbers, your physical address, just in case we need to refer to it in the future. Emergency contacts, which their names and their numbers can be edited directly through ProCare, our child care management system. Will provide more information on that in the future, but it's pretty simple. Physicals, as Ms. Johnson had mentioned earlier, due every year, right? They last 1 year, and flu shots are also very important. And another important note is allergies and any dietary restrictions or medical conditions. We need to know that in case anything changes from your doctor, you let us know so we have that on file just in case that is needed. And generally, there is another form related to our program. It's called the CACFP lunch form. It is our food program. That form also happens to last 1 year. So that's also going to be needed each year that you attend our programs. In general, our next steps, if you have any other questions, I would say for the summer, just give us a call at the Cortelyou building. We're always going to have administrators there pretty much from 7 a.m. to 5:30. That's the 718-282-6077 number you see at the top. But these are the numbers that you're going to have throughout the school year. So pay attention to the building that your child attends to. Those are your numbers. just in case, add these emails that you see on the screen to your Safe Senders list. Some families get it in their junk mail and they always complain that they never get emails, but they never check their junk or spam. So add that to your Safe Senders. We send most of our emails from these two email addresses you see here. In general, the first day of school is September 8th, as you had seen earlier on the academic calendars. But first, I'm going to throw it to Mr. Francis. He's going to talk a little bit about our Keep It Local page and just the referral credits as well.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I know that was real fast. My gosh, if I had to time him, it was like less than 2 minutes. So I'm not going to try to beat him because I know I can't beat him anyway when it comes to that. Okay, so I'm going to speak about the referral. We have a referral when parents refer students to our grade school program. Okay, they get a $300 credit that goes towards their tuition, and that helps you out to minimize your costs. On a monthly basis. Okay, so to keep it local, keeping it local is a page on our website. If parents have their own business and they would like to advertise on our website, it's $100 for the school year. That just helps us to maintain the website and keep it up, in regards of that. So if you go on there now, you'll see two companies on there. So if you like to add to that, and you just submit all your information to accounts and just reach out to us and we can tell you a little bit more about that. I know he told you about the EFT. I'm going to tell you, this is a secret, okay? If you would like to save some money without paying the credit card percentage, okay, fill out the EFT. Fill out the EFT. Or if you have a checking account, you can pay through your checking account, which what will happen is that it will email, you would send an electronic payment through your bank and it will cut a check and send it to us. It will cost you nothing, okay? But when you put that credit card in, it's gonna cost you. The more money you spend is the more percentage you're going to pay. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Also, the accounts department, we're here to help you, to assist you. If there's an issue when it comes to payment, please communicate that to us. We'll do our best. We're pretty fast. We work around the clock 24/7. I'm gonna be honest with you when it comes to that. So if you email something 1 o'clock in the night, you probably might get a response 10 minutes or so. So we always check in and make sure that goes, we take care of that. What's the next one? So I know Nick is going to wrap this up or Sophie's going to wrap this up, but I really appreciate the amount of parents that was on this call. I know it's probably was splitting in half, like half fathers, half mother, but I'm looking forward when we do these fundraisers, the participation is just like this. And we love that because it makes us excited that you're excited to start school in September. So I'm going to turn it over to Sophia. I guess.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry, I was saying, I think we did a good job as trying to answer all the questions that we were seeing on the chat. But what I did put in the chat as well is if you have specific questions, always feel free to email info@mycecc.com, because that email always goes to every director and we're able to answer your question for you in real time. Because we all, same thing with the tablets and the phones, our numbers are on our phone, our emails are on our phone, so we're able to answer short questions really quickly. But if you have a question, just ask. And like we tell our students, the older ones, no question is ever too stupid. If you have a question, just ask us so we can get to the bottom of what you're uncertain about. But for the most part, Are we still gonna get the daily pictures? Oh, they're asking about pictures and so forth. We're gonna have to see with the new communications system that we're using, because we think it's all gonna be facilitated within ProCare, which is a different tool that we're using this year. So our teachers, we have to train our teachers to use this new system. We need to onboard and get all of our parents into the new system so that we can communicate using the new system. So September is going to be the rollout. So Mr. Nicholas was saying that there's going to be another formal email that says, okay, welcome to Cortelyou, fill out all this information, join ProCare. And then once the school year starts, which is September 8th, we'll get the ball rolling. And again, we'll send out emails and we'll let you know how all of that is working out. In addition to that, I had said for September 8th and September 9th, you can do those first 2 days as optional half days. So if you know that your little one's going to need some time to ease in, feel free, let the teacher know that for these first 2 days, we're going to pick up at noon. And that is absolutely fine. Some schools make it mandatory, but because our kids here at Cortelyou, most of them have been here for years, or they're here right now during the summer with us all day, every day we see them, they don't need 2 days to get acclimated to us. They're already comfortable. But for some of our newer ones who may, they've been home or they've been traveling in our summer and they're just like, oh, I'm used to vacationing, I'm not ready for all of this. We're going to give them those 2 days. We're going to give them those 2 days to ease back into the formal work setting. I don't know if some families, some parents were working from home and then they got that call that people didn't like to hear, but we're going to need you to come back into the office 2 days a week. You too needed a gradual ease back into that process. So we want to give it to them because, they're little people and they're just like us. And, even sometimes it's on Monday and they're just like, I don't want to go to school. And the parents are just like, I don't know. They don't want to come to school. I'm like, what did you do this weekend? Oh, we went to Chuck E. Cheese or we went to the park and we did this and we went to the beach. And I'm like, so you think, they don't want to come back after a weekend either. I mean, it comes with, they're people too, and they have their personality and, their creativity, what they want to do. So we can't diminish that as well. But we want to gradually get them into the flow of school and, with the least resistance. But for the most part, especially in the year of 2020, when we opened back our doors after being closed for about 6 to 7 months, I don't think there was a wet eye at the door. The kids were like, bye, bye. It was like they were almost tired of being home. So we're hoping that still happens for some of our little ones, because it's nice for them to come back out and interact with other little ones just like them, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. A lot of them weren't seeing that. We were scared. We were in the house. We weren't going to the park per se, but they're ready to be in their community of friends. So we just want to make sure that we're here for that for them and we can facilitate that learning environment for our children again. So again, if you have any last minute questions, you can drop them in the chat. We'll stay on the line for a little bit longer. But other than that, we appreciate you spending an hour and 20 minutes with us tonight, just getting some housekeeping out of the way for the new academic year. Again, the uniform information, some of the ProCare information, these deck of cards that we just shared with you, all of this will be sent out to you in another follow-up email for you to kind of review, go over. And again, if you have any more questions or you misheard or you are a little bit confused, shoot us an email and we'll answer it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to jump in real quick. I know Ms. Sophia was talking about it a little bit before, and I'm going to talk about some questions I saw in the chat earlier. ProCare, if any of your families, I know some other families attending other daycares, they're already using ProCare, so some families may already be familiar with it. Some of our families, and maybe some others as well, if you have been using the app Class Dojo, a lot of it's going to be pretty similar to that. ProCare can do pretty much everything that Class Dojo can and more. So you're going to see a lot of different things as it relates to the use of that system for the school year. I know I saw a question in the chat earlier. It was asking about summer care. So for all the families that are in 3K or pre-K in the school day year slots, we do have summer care, but it turns into a private school program. So for example, with 3K, we do have a private preschool program that's available at the Cortelyou building. Generally, we try to get ideas from parents and their commitments, usually around March. We try to get it in early so we have an idea of what our roster is going to look like for the summer. Those do come with tuition and fees for the day. So you have to keep that in mind. DOE does not cover those 2 months, with the exception of the extended day year families. The extended day year families do get coverage for the summer, but only those families. That's for the 3K. Now for the pre-K families, we do have since they'll be entering kindergarten, that's usually our summer camp program. It's usually the first grade, the first age group that enters that program around there. That is a private summer camp, so it's pretty similar. That one is usually held at the Marlboro location, 386 Marlboro Road. So I just wanted to mention that. And I know earlier we were talking about the whole almond milk. I know Miss Sophia had mentioned before. Basically, when it comes down to it, our food program requires us to provide all of our students whole milk. So 1% milk, dairy milk. Now, if your child can't drink milk, doctor's notes, on the physical form, have notes on there. So we have that on record. That is the best evidence that we can use to say we can't serve dairy milk. And the only other really alternative for that would be soy milk. If your child is also allergic to soy, put that on the doctor's note, put that on the medical form. So we have that on file. That is what the CACFP food program under New York State is looking for. If it's a preference, that makes it harder. If it's a preference, we have to serve your child dairy milk regardless, whatever it may be. So just keep that in mind. Let me see. There may have been
There's also a hand raise. If I can take that question as well.
Okay. Let's see.
Nasiba, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. So is this recording the like I see it's recording. So are you gonna send us an email?
Yes.
Yes,
So
we're gonna.
when we're done with the meeting, we will upload it to YouTube and we will share a link. It'll likely be by tomorrow because we need to give time for the video to finish uploading. Okay. I see another hand raise. You can unmute yourself.
Hey, yes, good evening. I have two questions. So all the paperwork that needs to be submitted, do we take it to the main office at Cortelyou Road?
For the summer, I would suggest yes, because we have administrators always there on site. The Bedford building is closed for the summer, and Marlboro, there may not be someone right there to deliver the paperwork. The main building is always the best choice for the summer, and we are open until Friday, August 26th.
Okay, so every paperwork that my son needs in order for him to start in September, it needs to be submitted before August 26th?
If you're able to email it, that's even better, because we're always reachable by email. But if you need to deliver it in person, the main building is open until the 26th.
Okay, and do you guys have communications between the both buildings? Because I have submitted some paperwork, but they send me an email saying that I need this, I need that, when I have submitted already to the building on Bedford.
It needs to be updated. You got that email today? It needs to be updated.
No, I just submitted all the paperwork before the school ended to reassign Simon to the new school year. It's the whole packet, the whole new packet with the school packet that I'm supposed to sign. I already did that already. I submitted it already before.
So call the office, because the office has the file. So call the office, give them your child's name, and they can go over the paperwork. Just call the office.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, I see one more hand raised. You can unmute yourself.
You guys, I didn't see response in chat to my question. It is regarding the extended hours. So overall, I don't think we're going to use it, but because our grandma is staying with us, during certain hours a year. But whenever we do need extended hours, can we pay maybe just for a month, then or 2 months, and then nothing, and then again, or you have to sign up for the whole year?
So with the extended daycare, you would have to sign up pretty much. The last time you can opt into it is starting in October, because it's just not aftercare per se, it's a educational curriculum program. So if they start later in the year, like the class is already gone. So that's something you would have to speak directly with your director with, because I know absolutely for the pre-K, if you don't sign up by October, you can't join it again because it's already far gone.
Okay, so
But
it's you
maybe
either sign
3K,
up
it
or
may be different. Is your child going to 3K?
pre-K, 4 years old.
Yeah, the 4-year-old program is different because it's following a curriculum. And
Got
then
it.
when they
Okay,
come, it's kind of different.
got it. Makes sense. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Mhm. Oh,
Okay.
another question that I saw, Nicholas, was in regards to, can I observe my child in the classroom? So there's no way for you to come like online, observe the children in the classroom. The only way you can observe the classroom is if you're coming in, and that's another good piece. Sometimes we like volunteer hours and we like people to come in and read stories and things of that nature. So if you are interested in coming in and spending some time in the classroom, we have different times where we say, we want a parent volunteer. That would be a good time for you to come in and volunteer. But if you're in the classroom and like, sometimes we have some kids that they act completely different because their parents in the classroom, then that may be more of a distraction than it is, anything. Then the other time that we ask kids to, parents to come and observe is if like there's situations going on in the classroom that's kind of problematic and we need you to see it in real time. And we may put you like via a window or something to kind of observe what's going so you can see what we see during the day. So if you just want to kind of see what's going on and like hang out, we're going to put you to work because, we love parents who love to work in partnership with the school. So we're going to want you to read a story, help with lunchtime, things of that nature. But if it's a problematic situation where we're redirecting behavior and we need you to intervene and to give some other strategies that you utilize at home, we're going to call you in for that type of supervision as well.
And I see
Renee has her hands up.
this is going to be the last hand raise, and then we're just going to quickly end it off tonight. So you can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. So really quickly, I just wanted to know because I missed the part about the extended daycare because my son is going to need it, being that myself and his grandmother works in the afternoon. We just sign them up, or is it like a process that they have to get, I guess, like be accepted for something? Like how does the extended day just like signing up go?
In general, we have our separate application package. So most families here should have already submitted the Department of Education documents that have been emailed, in the past few months throughout the year. Now we have our own separate Cortelyou application package where you would sign up for the extended day program. We just generally, recommend that families fill that out. As soon as they know that they need it, just fill it out, submit the application, and remit the payment for the registration fee. But as Ms. Sophia had mentioned, certain programs like the pre-K program, September is probably a good adjusting month. And then come October, you're going to need to sign up if you need it. So you still have some time to do it. But if you're definitely interested now, I would say start filling out the paperwork. The applications are available online on mycecc.com on the admissions page. So it's always electronically fillable. You can fill it out and email it back to us. But you got some time. If you know, just do it now. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are approaching 7:30. So we've been here for a good amount of time. And I just wanted to thank everybody again for joining. Again, this meeting is being recorded. We're going to be sharing it with families along with the various items that we discussed, such as the school calendar and the supply list. Mr. Francis had also mentioned the school menu will also be provided prior to the first day of school, so you can get an idea of the different kinds of foods we are preparing. We do provide vegetarian alternatives, and going back to the nut-free school thing, our peanut butter sandwiches are made with sun butter. So that gives you an idea of the level that we prepare our breakfast, lunch, and snack throughout the day. So again, thank you everybody for joining. We will be sending out an email to everybody tomorrow with more details. If you have any other questions, as mentioned on this slide, you can always send us an email or give us a call at the Cortelyou building for the summer. And that's where the administrators will be.